Good morning, my name is Crystal. I'm not the bad guy, I'm the victim, and I'm trying to prove it. So good morning everybody. Today is Wednesday. I'm here in my flat in Rochester, Kent, and I'm suffering from severe noise nuisance and harassment, gang stalking, orchestrated gang stalking, and it's driving me round the bend. And last night was awful. The combined effort with what was going on upstairs and the street theatrics that was going on last night made me get triggered. Got triggered. And it's not surprising when you're under so much stress. You're not eating well and you're not sleeping properly and you're on constant alert. Every time I relax, every time I do a video, every time I make a phone call, there's noise and disturbance. Is it any wonder that sometimes people suffering what I'm suffering from get triggered? So let's explain bit by bit why I got triggered last night. Why I shouted outside in desperation because I was fed up with what they're doing. Why I shouted underneath my flat in desperation because I was fed up with what was going on, right? The guy upstairs has got autistic kids. Now, children that haven't got autistic needs, right, they make noise, but they settle down. Autistic kids have special needs. They need special help and support. They should not be living in accommodation like this that has got no soundproofing. Not only is it bad for them, because they're going to hear noise, aren't they? Autistic kids are going to hear noise from other people and it sets them off. So this place is not soundproof. So these kids, obviously noise might hurt them. Noise might hurt them. So they've got special needs. They should be not living in accommodation like this. So it's the responsibility of the landlord to make sure that they house people with special needs in places that are not going to harm them or residents, other residents, right? So housing places, housing people like Hyde Housing, when they house people, they should consider whether people have got special needs children, whether people have got drug problems, smoking, whatever, and house them together or house them away from people that are vulnerable, like myself, right? I am not blaming it totally on the guy upstairs, right? When he's home on his own, he makes normal, regular noise. But when he's got 3 or 4 autistic children upstairs and they're all screaming, they're fighting, they're running around, it sounds terrible. There is no soundproofing in this building. None. So not only am I hearing it, they're in the middle. So there's me underneath. They've got someone to the left, someone to the right, and they've also got someone above them. I don't know if they're experiencing noise in 4 directions, because I'm experiencing noise in 3 directions. So I do consider that, but I'm a vulnerable person and it sounds terrible. Especially when they start running across the ceiling and fighting each other. It sounds awful. So a lot of the responsibility falls on Hyde Housing, but they're just not doing anything. They don't care. They're just leaving it, basically. They're thinking I'm going to stop emailing, stop calling, and the problem's going to go away, but it isn't. Not this time. They closed the case about 5 times last time this happened. Closed it on me. I'm prepared to take it to the top this time. I can't stand this. I'm getting older and it's making me on edge all the time. Because autistic children grow into autistic adults, so it's going to get worse, isn't it? It's going to get louder, footsteps heavier, and they probably do break furniture. So let me explain why I got triggered last night. I had a stressful day yesterday. I spent my money just on getting food. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't get any luxurious items. I didn't treat myself to anything. I spent my money on food. When I went into the shop, it wasn't a pleasurable experience. One member of staff was rude to me, and I looked inside the store and the shelves were dirty, unclean, unhygienic, which is not acceptable for a shop. Put me off buying food in there, and I certainly didn't buy food from the shelves that were dirty. Filthy. So last night, I'd had a crappy day. And this is what they do. They make sure you have the most horrible day possible. And then those kids are brought home from school and they're hyperactive. Because even when autistic kids, even when they come home from school and they're tired, they're still loud and noisy. I did witness one of his children hit him in the middle of the street, but that was a few years ago. I saw him get hit by one of his children. He didn't retaliate. He just, you know what I mean? So they can strike out. Some of them bite and scratch. So he's having a tough time up there. They bite and scratch. Autistic children can bite and scratch. And you need professional help and support dealing with autistic kids, because they can, I've seen it, what they do. They fight their parents, they pin them up against the wall, they scream, they shout. It's very difficult. So parents need extra help and support. I'm just wondering and hoping that he's got support in dealing with that, because it's awful. These aren't just normal children, they're autistic. So perhaps he's had help and support and it stopped because they've got older, I don't know. But the noise is getting louder and worse, and I really, at my age, can't stand it. So I went downstairs last night. I went out of the building with Max, and all you can smell is drugs. And it's not just one or two people smoking it. It was a smog of it all up the road when I'm trying to take my dog for a walk. So it's instigated, right? They're trying to get me to meet blokes, and I'm happy on my own. So they cover the air in cannabis, ganja. And it's a safety health issue which needs to be reported, because it's not just one cannabis smoker. That was a smog of it. So it's instigated. So I walked through the smog of cannabis. I walked up to the field and I felt dizzy and faint on my feet and sick, which is contributing to the health issues I've got. It's not helping. It's not pain relief cannabis. That is the joint smoking. It's not oil that helps pain. It's smoking. By the time I got onto the field, I was struggling to stand up straight. I carried on walking. There was a man in a white t-shirt walking around the field, various other people. I didn't get to have a proper walk at all. I was angry, I was upset. I'm obviously worried for not only my own safety but kids' safety and elderly. They're smoking drugs everywhere. This happened in 2020, 21, 22, and I do know that the man upstairs, when he moved into this flat, was smoking weed with his girlfriend on the balcony. Weed. I don't smoke. And I don't smoke drugs. I don't take drugs. I don't smoke marijuana. So when he first moved in, he was smoking weed with his girlfriend. Right? I don't know if he's smoking it now. I haven't got a clue. When I first moved into this flat, they were smoking ganja on the balcony. So whenever this guy is at home, the behaviour from people outside towards myself gets worse. They come at me in all directions. They bully. They make noises. They're vile to me when he's at home. I've made observations. It's going down in a harassment journal, and that is it. So I managed to get myself off of the field, and I shouted because there were kids in the car park. It's a car park. It's not a skateboard rink or a toilet. It's a car park. And this went on in 2020, 21 and 22, where a female threatened me off the top of the car park. And I reported it to the police and they didn't investigate. Right? So all the things, when he had his kids upstairs in 2021, 22, 23, have resurfaced after 2 years. So all that shit has started again. Getting abuse from kids in the communal car park opposite the field. It's all resurfacing again. After 2 years. Why? Why am I being targeted again? Haven't I gone through enough? My concern is also for the over 55s people in those flats. Because every time I walk on the field, you've got kids going, and being abusive. So obviously my concern is that why is it returning again? Who's instigating it? Why? And it needs to be investigated, right? Of course it does. So I saw the Ardbeg van, Ardbeg van, parked outside the Rochester Riverside where the police were parked that morning, right? So the Ardbeg van is out there, right? Beg, well, we all know what beg means. Like someone saying, oh, you want money, you want something, come and beg for it. I'm no beggar, I don't beg. Number plate beg. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? We've got a Scottish van from Glasgow just randomly parked down Corey's Road, Rochester. That's twice in a row now. What are they doing in Rochester when the van is based in Glasgow? There's no Ardbeg Electrics in Rochester or Medway. What are they doing down here? Right? I told you we get a lot of Gloucestershire vans and cars. I used to live in Gloucestershire ages ago, but I don't anymore. So is this abuse stemming from Gloucester? Is it? Where I moved down from in 2008. Am I being bullied by someone in Gloucestershire? That's one of my thoughts as well, being as there was a load of trouble worse than this when I was living up there, and I was in fear of my life. And I couldn't get help and support up there. I couldn't get a dentist, couldn't get a doctor. couldn't even use a phone box. So this is starting up again, and obviously I'm worried about my own safety. Right, so the police aren't interested. They haven't got back to me yet. This is serious. They're just leaving it, refusing to take responsibility, but sitting in cars eating when I need help. So their cars are being documented, and the lack of care and help. And this is how women get murdered and put in hospital because the police don't do their job properly. And I'm aware that's what they're trying to do to me. I am aware of that. It's all being noted down. I'm not the villain. The villains are still loose, the perpetrators, and they're trying to, when they trigger, they're trying to make out that you are the villain so that they all get off with what they've done to me, see? So I've documented that I shouted last night. I've documented it, and I've also said why I shouted, right? Because the message that I got saying that I might be a safety issue, me, is a cover-up to hide that they're the one that's dangerous. It's not me. So they're making excuses for themselves, and I still haven't got the screenshots of this Tracy Tiny Frying Pans account that has been spreading rumours about me off of TikTok. So I need the screenshots because that backs up my evidence that I am being targeted. Still haven't got the screenshots. Where are they? I need them. It reinforces my case that I'm being targeted and harassed. So I did come home upset, and people, the way they stage the scenarios makes me look the villain. And my mum addressing the letter with her name at the top of the letter. My mum doesn't live with me. My mum Jennifer doesn't live with me. It's a giant cover-up to cover what happened in 2008. It's a massive cover-up, and they're trying to... Yeah, but why, after all these years, keep trying to cover it up? What's the... Why? So when I was walking back home, I couldn't go behind the back of the flats because there was a car parked in the middle of the road. So I turned round and walked down my street. And because I'd shouted outside, once, everybody looked at me as if I was like, oh, you know, dangerous. What I've been through is 7 days a week for the past 3 weeks, constant harassment, constant noise nuisance. And I've sat in my flat and I've kept quiet. And I am afraid to go outside. So yes, I shouted to make them all know that I'm not being bullied again. I'm not being bullied anymore. And when I've been pumped full of what I call drugs up the nose by going outside, and there's a lot of like men hanging about, I just shouted because I have been abused on that field, abused on it by a man and taken advantage of, and I don't want it happening again. So if I have to shout to keep people away from me, that's what I will do. And they're afraid of my face getting known, afraid of the stuff coming out, because I have sat here for the past 5 years explaining it very briefly on YouTube and not saying the full extent of this abuse that has been going on to myself. And now they suddenly start attacking me. Oh, take your YouTube videos off, they're too personal. Yes, because they don't want people to see what I'm going through. They don't. Oh, it can't be as bad as that. It's worse. It is worse. Screaming, children, fighting, yelling. You're sat down watching the telly like this and the ceiling almost caves in. It's not that bad. And then I go outside and I'm being targeted and picked on, and there's only so much a human being can take. Being isolated, frightened, and experiencing all this noise in my own home. So there's a TikTok influence here as well. They think I'm going to start doing TikTok. It's a joke. No, I'm not doing TikTok live streams. It's stressful. It's dangerous. I don't want to go into other people's live streams either. It all started when I went into someone's live stream, and they start on you because you show your face in the little video box, don't you? That's how it all started. The first instance of bullying and jealousy, I blocked it, and I just blocked them all, and it disappeared. And then it starts happening when I do a live stream or I go into somebody else's, I start getting picked on. So I'm fed up with TikTok. So you've got a Stephen talk to me in TikTok, a Stephen, and I blocked them. And a dude 13, right? So Stephen sent me a picture of a red car. So every time I go out now, I've got a red car coming just in front of me up the top of the Rochester Riverside, a big like Volkswagen type red car, because this Stephen said he was mending his car. So I'm being stalked and harassed on TikTok. Even out of it now, I'm not using it. I'm being stalked out of it. This red car keeps coming out like this Stevens that I blocked. Right, this is Rochester as well. I've been told not to answer any messages at all, just block them. So don't even answer. And if you have to answer, don't, make it brief, like I'm not interested. Please don't contact me again. Because they're stalking, they want to know where you are. So you start a conversation up and then they appear every day. How are you, Crystal? What's happening in your life, Crystal? What happened today, Crystal? They're gathering information. See? They're gathering information. And they're going back, they're snoops, going back to the newspapers and the magazines and stealing my story. Because I've seen bits of things I've said in newspapers and magazines. And we know they're listening into the flat every time I have a conversation with a doctor or anybody. And they're gathering information from that. And yes, I am being humiliated outside. Public humiliation. Have you not heard what the Freemasons do? When somebody is a Christian, when somebody is a good person, they humiliate. They humiliate. They're against Jesus and God, so they do unholy practices. They reverse the cross. They do dirty things with the cross of Jesus. These people are hateful, and the Freemasons are everywhere. And they're singers in Freemasonry, pop singers in Freemasonry. They humiliate you because you're good and you believe in Jesus. Humiliation is one of the things that the Freemasons do to good people that are Christian. And there are celebrities and pop stars in Freemasonry. So it's everywhere. You have got Freemasons in the police. You've got Freemasons in the police. You've got Freemasons in the council. Hence, why I'm not getting any help. This is why I'm not getting any help. It's Freemasonic. Freemasons in the police. Freemasons in the council. Freemasons in the media, the celebrity status. And there is a video talking about how it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and they'll take over. They'll all take over. There's no law enforcement. Out there, it's anybody from the south. It's dog eat dog. Food prices are going up. People won't be able to afford to eat before long. They won't. There's so many people going to food banks now, even working, that have got jobs. So how are people on benefits supposed to cope? Like myself. So we've got positive steps. Not only have I got negative things, I put things that I do that are positive against this. They're attacking me because I'm a good person and I believe in Jesus Christ. And I won't do dirty things that they're involved in. I've never been approached by a Freemason to my knowledge, but Charlie lives right next to the Freemasons, the Freemasonic Lodge in Rochester. Doesn't that, that's odd in itself, that Charlie actually lived next door to the Freemasons and he approached me on the field and I refused to get involved in his dirty practices, and suddenly I've been targeted. I tell him that I'm having neighbour noise nuisance. The guy upstairs was not, he didn't have his kids above me at that time. Now they've been here for the past 3 weeks. That Charlie kept stalking me. What can I do to make you love me? Keep pressurising me when I wasn't interested in someone like that. He took me back to his flat and made a mocking spectacle of me in front of men outside the window and tried to instigate something I wasn't interested in. So you've got a man that tried it on with me right next door to the Freemasonic Lodge. I haven't seen the guy for the past 3 or 4 months, but the harassment has got so bad that at one point I just was going to abandon this flat and leave. Go homeless. I told that Charlie and his girlfriend that I was having trouble from my neighbours, and it's tripled. It's absolutely tripled. The noise nuisance has gone up so bad, I almost walked out of this flat with my bag and went homeless. Almost. You've got to remember I've got pets. And I love my dog. I wouldn't abandon my dog. They'd have everything. They're trying to get my belongings. They're trying to take my home away from me. They are trying to cause distress and put me in the gutter because I won't do their dirty, disgusting things. I want to meet a person, settle down and live the rest of my life in happiness. I don't sleep around. I'm not their toy. They're Freemasonic toy. I'm not a toy. So you've got to remember, the reason I'm not getting any help is because the Freemasons are everywhere. I'm living near the Freemasonic Lodge in Rochester, right? They put me here for a reason, and I'm not being played about with. And I'm staying indoors a lot. Oh no. See you later.